Clearly was not the choice of the Democrat Party when she got shoehorned into that space. And then you tried to roll out Megan Thee Stallion and Lil Jon, the East Side Boys. And everybody was trying to say, hey, black men, let's vote for this now. I mean, it just really didn't work. Well,
in this video, Bill Maher and his panel discuss Whoopi Goldberg's recent stupid, ridiculous viral statements on The View. Bill Maher and the panel are borderline speechless that Whoopi Goldberg said that black Americans have it worse here than if they were to live in Iran. With that, let's watch Bill Maher torch Whoopi Goldberg for her idiocy.
Here we are with our panel. A humorist is now new memoirist called Class Clown Dave Barry. And he's a Democratic strategist and CNN political contributor Paul Begala, and the Republican congressman from the 38th in Texas, Wesley Hunt. Okay. For the panel, what is the panel's reaction to Arnold Schwarzenegger saying that immigrants should behave like guests? Well, they're truncating that a little, but that is basically what he said. And he is, of course, an immigrant himself. He came here with nothing but a loincloth and a jar of protein powder, and look how far he got. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
I completely agree.
Okay, good.
And someone should tell Elon Musk. This country took Mr. Musk in. We gave him freedom. We gave him an opportunity. We gave him $465 million of a loan under Barack Obama. Okay. Which, by the way, he paid back early. I give him credit for that. But we made him the richest man in the world, and all he does is dump on America. So he ought to be a pretty good guest, too. I don't like Mr. Musk.
I think Schwarzenegger should learn to speak English.
Do it now. Get down.
If he wants to stay, I mean.
Okay. This is for you, Dave. What do you make of the Californians who are moving to Florida? There is
And Texas.
And Texas, yes.
My neighborhood, I have Californians moving in. We have lots of people coming. Florida, everyone makes fun of Florida. You know, Florida's got a bad reputation. But I mean, think about it. There's 23 million people in Florida, and is it fair to judge 23 million people because of the behavior of 21 million people? But they are lured. They come for the culture, by which I mean we have no state income tax, and they like that. They like that a lot.
That's what I mean. He's not a humorist. He's a comic. He's funny. You know, there's a difference between a humorist and LOL. Okay. For Wesley, what was behind the rightward shift of black men toward Trump in the last election?
I like Wesley Hunt a lot. I look forward to hearing what he has to say about this question. Is it controversial that if you're on a visa or if you're an immigrant here, you should assimilate to our culture and, as Arnold Schwarzenegger says, behave like a guest? I don't care if I'm at my friend's house. It's been my friend since we were in elementary school. I'm a guest in his home. You know, I mean, really, we're so close that I could live there if I needed to, right? So they're very familiar with me. I'm very familiar with them, but it's still not my home. It's actually funny. I just stayed at a friend's house to house sit for him, and I had anxiety when I was leaving because I felt such an obligation to leave their home as nice or better than the way I found it when I arrived. They were coming home from vacation. I would have been horrified if they felt like, you know, it's nice that he house sat for us, but boy, the place sure looks crappy. It's not nice to come home to a messy place. To me, it's the same concept. Let me know what you guys think. Back to it.
I think I touched on that a little bit. I think whenever you have a candidate like Kamala Harris that clearly was not the choice of the Democrat Party when she got shoehorned into that space, and then you tried to roll out Megan Thee Stallion and Lil Jon, the East Side Boys, and everybody was trying to say, hey, black men, let's vote for this now. I mean, it just really didn't work.
Well, most of them still did.
Well, one in three black men. 1 in 3 black men in the state of Texas voted for President Trump.
Okay, well, that's men and in a state.
Well, I'm being very specific here because it does matter. We are seeing a seismic shift, and that's the most vote, the highest vote that we got in the Republican Party in the history.
No doubt about it. Trump did better with minorities across the board each time he ran, including the time he lost.
It's a thought. You can absolutely talk about that next.
Oh, come on. But, you know, he does want to, like, take Trump is putting the Robert E. Lee name back on buildings. I mean, are you down with that?
So when I was at West Point, I actually lived in Robert E. Lee Barracks when I was there. And as I said,
Robert E. Lee went to West Point.
Yes, he did. That's why the barracks is named after him. And so my brother, sister, and I are matriculated through West Point. We all graduated. And I'll never forget walking under the threshold of Robert E. Lee Barracks and think to myself, damn, this is one hell of a country. Because only in America can someone like me walk into a building named after a Confederate general and then be a successful West Point graduate. If we start changing the names on buildings, then every single building would be named Jesus Christ based on perfection. Let's talk about where we have come from. Well, maybe not to you, but to us. Maybe not to you, but to us.
A lot of them, some of them would be Moses.
Depending on where you're at. I bring that up because I want to talk about the progress, and the idea of us changing names on buildings actually doesn't harken us back to times where they weren't as good.
And statues,
and how
too?
can we not? Oh, I am. My wife is. I've been black my whole life.
Yes.
So far, still. My wife is white, and we have 3 biracial children, and I cannot wait to show them and take them to places that wasn't always the case. There was a time when your mother and daddy could not be married. My children are going to have the opportunity to be second lining down in New Orleans, and then my wife is from Iowa. They'll be on the farm with their grandfather in Iowa. That is America,
Yes.
and I do not want to take down these statues and change the names of these buildings because they're a reminder of what was, and if we don't remember it, we are doomed to repeat it.
If you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
So there's a reason for it, I see. What did you think of Whoopi Goldberg saying it's worse to be a black person in America today than a woman in Iran? You know, I see we were talking about the trans issue before, and the New York Times really has come over on that to the sort of the sensible, liberal, not crazy woke position. I think this is a great first step toward getting the Democrats back to sanity. And a second good step would be, we got to do something about The View. I really believe that. I mean, could you just
It's huge in Iran, though.
Bill, you know, when I
mention The View in Iran, all with the same head cover?
I'm assuming that guy on the right is a Democrat, and anytime they have a quote-unquote humorist or comedian on any show that's a Democrat, I immediately know, like, this guy is not going to be funny. That was a freaking hilarious joke. They're big in Iran, though. Yeah, I bet they are. With Whoopi saying it's better for black people in Iran than it is in the United States. Iran's probably like, thanks, you're doing a lot for tourism here. I mean, we still hate anyone that's not like us, but yeah, come on over here. Look, I know the left says dumb things every day. It's why we have channels like this. But if you guys didn't see it, that's exactly what Whoopi Goldberg said, is that it's harder for a black American to live here than Iran. And so often when Democrats say stupid things, I question, do they really believe what they're saying? Or do they just know saying this is so dumb and outrageous it'll get clicks? And it's probably a mix of both. But this statement from Whoopi Goldberg has to be the biggest suspect for the highest likelihood that she was very aware what she's saying is not true, and it's effing stupid. And I honestly, as I watched it, I think her studio audience kind of intermittently clapping during it. I saw moments where she was like, should I bail on this horrible direction I'm going with this statement? And I felt like she was getting encouraged by them. She's like, yeah, black people have it terrible here, so take that. It was like she knew it was dumb. She's like, wait, they're buying this? All right. We probably say it every other day with Democrats, but that may be one of the all-time classic buffoon Democrat lines. Like, someone please interview her and make her explain, make there be consequences for what a stupid statement that is and how much she hates this country and hates all the people in it. Anyway, let's wrap up the video.
You can't even tell which one is which.
My district in the great state of Texas is actually a white majority district that President Trump would have won by 25 points. As I said, I'm a direct descendant of a slave. My great-great-grandfather was born on a Rosedown plantation. I am literally being judged not by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character. That's the progress, because, like, a lot of white people had to vote for me. A lot.
So wait,
I don't even ever want to hear Whoopi Goldberg's conversation about how it's worse to be black in America right now. That's a bit far. And my father, who's 75 years old, he was a man that was in the French quarters that had to go get a sandwich to the back door of the building. and his son is now a United States congressman in a white majority district in Texas as a Republican. That is America. That's America.
You guys tell me if you think the same. I feel like when I see people like Wesley Hunt, I'm inspired. Anytime I see a Democrat, there's zero inspiration. It's a feeling of hopelessness, anger. This is maybe just for me, but evil. I feel like they have an ulterior motive. Everything he said on here is positive instead of turning negative things in the past into some horrible stain that has to be the identity of our country for the rest of our lives. But we want to hear from you. What do you guys think about this panel discussion about Whoopi Goldberg's stupid comments? Let us know. Anyway, as always, really appreciate you watching. We will see you in the next one.